As a science driven woman with a big heart, one who's career focused and at her core is really coded for success, it's important to create a liberated lifestyle. One where you not only feel successful at work, but you feel really successful and satisfied in all the areas of your life. And what I've noticed in myself and in other success driven women is that, and I really learned this the hard way, is that we have this tendency to be really focused on being the independent career woman or taking care of our business. So, whether that's with our clients or for some of us, taking care of your children, what ends up happening is we burn out and we lose sight of ourselves and lose sight of some of our dreams that we have and the other areas of our life that we care about. And for example, like our health, our well being, our marriage, and really even staying connected to our spirituality and our other interests that truly light us up from the inside out. And I learned from my mom and many of the women in my life, watching them spend all of their time taking care of others, sacrificing their own well being, some working multiple jobs to bring in a paycheck. Meanwhile, other areas of their life were getting overlooked. And I was super fortunate to have my mom at home with me and my sisters and really understand now what a gift that was. And I really treasure that. While I saw for a big part of her life that, and just kind of hearing her experiences, that not having a career path, or even the way not seeing her be, really take care of herself or care about her well-being as much because she was focused on us girls. um that really kind of made me steer away from that and really go kind of full force into my career path and really wanting to make so much money that I wanted to be able to take care of everybody and not really have those same concerns. Now, I watched other women in my life take the route where they hustled and they worked hard. Maybe they didn't have the space for a healthy marriage, being as present as they wanted to with their kids. But either way, they also, it was like sacrificing their own well being to take care of what they needed to, right? And I think that just really having gratitude and respect for the place that they were in, the generation of what was happening at their time, and not that any of that was wrong, where really I've been able to reflect on that and see how it has impacted my life and other women, and really kind of see where we want to go from here, right? Being in this generation and for future ones, how we may want to evolve and change from those experiences. And so, either way, what I picked up on was it seemed like there was a sacrifice as a woman, right? That you had to either pick one or the other, and you couldn't have both. It's like it came at a price. And as a therapist, and specifically working with women and women's health, I've had the privilege and the honor from hearing from a lot of different women, hearing stories from women of all ages, really how they've navigated their life, what they feel most proud about, what they regret, and really helping them regain some of what they feel was lost in the areas that got overlooked. And so, what I've made of this for myself and in life so far, especially as an ambitious and driven woman, is if we're really, really honest with ourselves, that the truth is that we don't want one or the other. We want both. We want family, we want fortune, and really we want it all, right? We want to be loved and cared for by our husbands. We want to be able to take really good care of our bodies and our health. We want to know that we're making a positive mark on humanity, a contribution within our communities, and most importantly, a legacy within our families. And so, when I talk about living a liberated and luxurious lifestyle, what this means is going to be slightly different from one woman to the next, right? For each of us, while there's going to be some key things that I know we have in common, especially as highly driven, highly ambitious, science driven women that have big hearts and big dreams. Right. And what it means is not succeeding in one area where we feel like we're failing at another, right? When we're overlooking or neglecting certain areas of our life, especially like our health and things that really truly light us up from the inside out. Right. And because we're too exhausted from our work or we're just spinning our wheels, forgetting the whole purpose of why we're doing any of it. Right. And so, what I know it does mean is being the wild, the wise, and really the whole woman that we were born to be. And this is a woman that, we get to feel success and satisfaction in all the areas of our life. And at the core, in our relationships, because as women, we are naturally drawn to and coded to think and feel relationally. Right. And it's funny because it's something my husband and I have, commented on, we talked about in different ways and at different times, but it's always something that we kind of giggle about is when he, talks to a friend and has a catch up call with somebody, how different men and women really are, because he'll get off the phone and I'll ask, oh, how are they doing? How is he? How's his wife? How's their family? And the response that I'll get from my husband is like, well, I don't know how she is. Like, I'm sure everything's good. Like, they're doing good. Um, and while it's just the conversation that they're having, right, it is different in nature, right? And where if you think about when you catch up with the women in your life, your friends, you have definitely touched on all those areas, right? Like you know how they're doing, how their husband's doing, how their children or family is. Like those are all the things that you've touched on in addition to maybe right how things are going at work, et cetera. So this is just a funny example that I always think of. And it made me also think of the last group that I went to, was just recently, was in a group of women. These are all business women, that we were coming together for networking. And this came up there too, right? Just how women are so relational and how is kind of different from their male counterparts. Some of them come from male dominated fields, others, right, are in healthcare or different areas where maybe it's more women focused. But at any rate, they all had the experience that as women, we really bring in relations to our work, right, into our businesses and the roles that we play in our communities and within our families. And so in sharing this with you, I really want this to be this is kind of an intro, but also a guide for you to be able to consider your own priorities, your own experience, and really what you consider to be living a liberated and luxurious lifestyle. So I'm going to share a little bit about what that means for me, um, and then I'll also give you some other examples about, so you can be thinking about what this means for you. Uh, so really for me, right, having and living a liberated and luxurious lifestyle is not only about being rich, right? And don't get me wrong, that's part of the goal that is included. It's got to be included into the equation. And, while I want that money flowing in, it's really also about being rich in time, in energy, and in love. right? So those are three for me that I want to be: time rich, love rich, and energy rich. And because really, without the spark, without the passion, for me, it's like, what's the point of it all? Right. And isn't that really the goal if we really think about why it is that we want money flowing in and why we have been on the trajectory of advancing in our career or making money, is really for those things, right? Is that we want to be rich in our time, the space that we have, and in the love that we're able to give and receive, right? And with our energy, right? And that's that passion and being lit up from inside out, is that we actually are really enjoying our lives, right? And so it's really common, I think it's all too common to hear people talk about that, they would just, their dream, they would just make millions and millions of dollars and they would retire and just go sit on the beach and have drinks all day, right? And if we really consider that and really think about that, that's not actually what you want. And I think that, right? That would get old and it would get boring, right? Because as a driven, ambitious woman, you have things that you want to be doing, right? We don't want to just be sitting around doing nothing, right? Where, because we've been living those busy lives and really kind of been trained to be productive, and, what we're actually craving and wanting is to have space in our life, right? Having those leisurely moments, having plenty of space to be loved and to be romanced in our marriages, to really feel passionate about the work that we're doing and know that we're making an impact on the clients that we serve, and really within our, again, our communities and in our world, right? And we want to be full of energy and life, right? We don't want to be depleted or exhausted by doing that, right? We also want to have this, the time and energy to do the activities that we enjoy, maybe learning a new hobby, being full of life and love, right? And so, specifically for me, when I think about that liberated and luxurious lifestyle, it's having rich, deep, and thoughtful conversation. It's having space in my calendar and not needing to live in a rush. It's staying connected with God. It's all of those things while being able to optimize my wellness rituals to really take care of my body and my skin and all of me, right? It's dancing, in my living room. It's dancing with my soul sisters, traveling to amazing places. It's spending time with the children in my life, right? It's being romanced by my husband, right? And so for some of you, it could be many of the things I just mentioned, or it may also being a more present parent with your children. It might be having time to do what you want on a morning weekday, being able to start slow, right? Travel without being rushed or feel like you need a vacation after the vacation, right? So the point is that with science-driven and success-driven women, we want to be able to learn, contribute, and make that positive impact on the world or in our work, right? And we want to be able to do that while having the spaciousness in our life, right? Being able to go frolic on a fall day, right? Or having the rich, connective conversation with our friends, with the women in our lives, right? So, regardless of what that is for you, it's not at the expense of actually being full of life, feeling liberated and luxurious for ourselves, not just what we're giving to the people in our lives, the people that we're serving and we care about, but that we get to enjoy that too. Right. And so this is what I've been focused on and prioritizing in my own life. I've been redirecting myself from mistakes that I've made, from misguided direction where I had too much focus on certain areas of my life while not paying attention to others. And so, really, over the past 4 years, I have been tending to different areas, right? And this has been in seasons and in sections of my life, right? And so, that there's been a health focus, there's been a marriage focus, there's been a rehauling just how I approach life in general, what needed to happen in my business finances. I went through a whole spiritual awakening of reconnecting to my spirituality and what that means for me, right? So there's all these different areas to tend to, and I feel very fortunate, and grateful to myself that I've given that space and that energy to these things to get to a place now where I feel very liberated in my life. And I've created a lifestyle that really works for me and that lights me up and has me feeling luxurious. Well, of course, there's plenty of goals and there's plenty of places that I'm going, right? And so from that, I have really, from that, I've been able to birth and bring, I've been able to birth and really build this new baby that I'm bringing to you with the movement that I've created for This Radiant Woman. I've been pouring my heart and soul into all of this to be able to create the business that I've dreamed of that's going to support me in all of the ways, and is really an expansion from the work that I've been doing the last decade as a therapist, and is really a revelation of all the life lessons that I've and experiences that I've had up to this point, right? It's also what I believe that needs to be brought into our world for the modern day woman so that she can pour into herself and let that overflow into her family, her friends, her community, and the contributions that she is making and within her own work, right? And that's what the liberated lifestyle does. That's what it's designed to do, and how I've transformed my life. It's the foundation of this body of work that I am continuing to build. And it's what I teach inside of all of my spaces, right? It's also what I'm sharing here with you on YouTube. And it's really so that you can redirect your life path, however that needs to be, depending on where you're at. And really to help you know it's just about making small pivots, right? These small shifts that are going to allow us to be more present, bring perspective into our lives and how we are approaching it so that we can really get more precise, right? And really those small shifts to dial in where we need to in the areas that have been overlooked, right? And that way you can reroute and redirect yourself so that you also can be feeling that liberation and feeling that luxuriousness in your life right now. And as you continue, working through your goals, doing all the things that you want to do as you're building your dream life, and um, really just being able to live in the success that you've already created for yourself. Right. And so I'd love to have you stick around if you found this to be uplifting, if this really spoke to your soul and is something that you truly want in your life as well. So you can click subscribe and stay tuned for what I'm going to continue to bring here to this channel. I will have the ways that you can work with me linked in the description if that's something that's calling out to you. And I really look forward to bringing more of this to you here on YouTube, and I'm happy to have you part of the community. So I appreciate you tuning in and just taking this as kind of an intro into my body of work and what I'm really here to bring forth and really what I stand for.